Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children 18 plus. You are tuned in to the Loan Officer Podcast with me, Dustin Owen, and my main man,
JC.
John Coleman.
What's up, Dion? What's poppin'?
What's up with you, JC, being all melancholy?
No, I'm excited. What's up, Dio? What's
poppin'?
What's poppin'?
There we go. This episode is poppin'.
I think that's
In
the title.
fact, that is the title.
Yeah.
Literally, the title of this episode is This Is What's Popping.
Yeah.
There is so much going on in the world, but in our world, in our listeners' world.
Okay.
We need to spend an entire episode just playing catch up. I want to respond to some of the rebuttals, I'll call them, that I saw on YouTube. I think you call those people trolls. I just call them rebuttals or other sides of the coin. I want to discuss even like feedback I received from executives in the mortgage industry based on some episodes we've produced or maybe even just the LinkedIn clips we've been posting.
Okay.
We want to talk about the show's future, the website, the future of the website. We want to talk about events coming up that people need to know about and they're going to want to be a part of.
Damn.
But before we do, I want to give a shout out to our guest from last episode.
Shout out Carlos Navarro.
Carlos Alberto Navarro.
Yes.
Yes. Dude, that episode, truth be told, if you haven't checked it out, you need to. You need to, and if you haven't shared it, you definitely need to. It was one of my favorite episodes to record.
Yeah,
it really was. Like, I've known Carlos since high school, right? And we haven't, like, hung out and been the best of friends over the past 20 years. Mm-hmm. We see each other every 2 to 5 years. We're Facebook friends. He follows what's going on in my life. I follow what's going on in his life. But to be able to connect with him and to hear everything that he's doing and how he is helping shape lives, how he is teaching things they don't teach in high school, at least the high school he and I went to.
Lyman High till you die or something.
Lyman High until we die. And people who don't know who Carlos is, like, I'm just going to point you in that direction. Many people in Central Florida know him because he has been on the #1 morning radio show for 20 years. He's also been a character in The Walking Dead, multiple episodes, multiple seasons. He also was a main character in Marvel's TV show Hawkeye. Like, he is a talented entertainer who has now taken that talent to help educate. Very much what you and I do on this show, right? This show is everything you should have learned in school but didn't. Or like you like to say, John, shit they don't teach in high school.
Sorry, yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah, it's all right.
Served me up kind of quick.
That just shows you all how much John and I prep for these episodes, right? But like, that's the point of this show. We've always told people, do not let the name fool you. I know we called the name coming out of the gates the Loan Officer Podcast, but don't let the name fool you because this is content that literally spans all generations, all demographics, and all people who live in a Western civilization.
Well put. Well put, Mr. Owens.
So, I don't even know where to start.
I know you don't.
I don't even know where to start.
Start with the rebuttals for the people who comment on the internet.
Ooh, okay. Rebuttals, corrections, or just other sides of the coin?
Sure.
Okay. Before we do, let me get these dates out so because they're stuck up in my head right now.
All right, get them out.
And
you're the one who said I don't know where to get started, so clearly you do.
No, clearly I don't. But I'm saying you gave me a suggestion.
And you're like, no, let me start with this. So.
Well, I said that's a really good 1B, John. That's a great 1B, but let's make this one a 1A.
Okay.
All right. First and foremost, because we teased the hell out of it and we didn't have any clarification, we have clarification. Tuesday, April 25th, TLOP presents Learn, Earn, and Grow, a mortgage sales symposium. That's what it is. What you all thought and what you originally heard, or some of you attended if you were in Tampa or Orlando this year, you attended an event that was called originally TLOP Live. Please know that's an amazing name and we're going to use it for future content. But what you knew as TLOP Live is now TLOP presents Learn, Earn, and Grow, a mortgage sales symposium. Tuesday, April 25th, the DoubleTree Hotel in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. that's where our third ever mortgage sales event is going to be held. It's an 8:30 to 12:30. JC is going to have the invite up on the website so you can register. Seating will be limited. Shout out to our sponsors, Waterstone Mortgage, Urban Young Insurance, and
First American.
Oh, you just reminded me. We're still looking for our third sponsor.
Psych. See, that was a setup. Yeah. See how I played that off? Perfect.
Yeah, you played that off beautifully. No, but that's the date. So TLOP Live is going to be something John and I do going forward.
Damn it.
We're going to start with one live episode per month.
Nuh-uh.
Per month, yes. I'm not going to do it per week right away, John. I'm going to give you some time to figure this shit out. Eventually, it will be per week, but it's going to be one live show per month produced on a Wednesday, and then it'll be dropped on a Sunday, recorded, right? So we're looking at hopefully doing our first one in April, our second one in May. We've already sat down. We had lunch with a producer who has all the equipment and the knowledge to do this, and we would probably try to stream it. YouTube would be my guess.
Obviously, if it's doable, we try to stream it on all platforms that allow streaming.
Okay, even better.
Yeah.
Yep, like Switch.
It's called Twitch. First of all, Dad. Oh my! Get off the internet, please.
All I know is Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube would allow us to stream.
We could have a Discord channel for the real young.
Discord, there we go.
No, I refuse.
John, at some point, you can't be a boomer either.
Look,
at some point, you have to embrace TikTok and Discord.
No,
it's not for you, John. It's not about you. It's about them, the fans.
We have a TikTok, and people we have like a crazy cult, like a following on there that you never even know about. It's funny.
Yeah, because you don't give me access.
You don't need access to it.
So anyhow, that's the first date. All right, Tuesday, April 25th, DoubleTree Hotel, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida.
Yep.
All right. Here's another date. Unfortunately, you and I were asked to be a part of this event, right? And this is an amazing event. Like our friends over at Growth Only Coaching, Justin, who's been on the show, his partner Amir, who hasn't been on the show, but I can't wait to have him on too later in the year. They're doing this event, massive event. I'm talking like this event puts TLOP Presents Learn, Earn, and Grow to shame.
Watch your mouth. No,
no, like ours are more localized, regionalized events. This is a national event. National event in Chicago, Illinois on April 21st and April 22nd. The event is called Growthcon. They're going to have people there like Ryan Serhant, Barry Habib, Renee Rodriguez, and others. This is a loan officer and realtor event. So LOs, grab your favorite realtor and maybe you all make a little weekend getaway up to the Windy City, April 21st and April 22nd for Growthcon. I was able to do this for our fans, for our listeners, for the people who visit our website, tloponline.com. I've negotiated with Justin and Amir a discount. So if you want a discount code, all you're going to have to do is reach out to us. Hit me up on LinkedIn. I'm pretty accessible on LinkedIn. Dustin, first name, Owen, last name. Dustin Owen on LinkedIn. Hit me up, and I'll make sure you get the code if you want to go. And then lastly, I'm pretty excited about this. And if you're tuned in watching us on YouTube right now, which if you're not, please know you can watch this show on YouTube. Please go there and subscribe. But you're going to see this awesome orange box. It may even get a little bit camouflaged with the orange
it's copyright
table.
Infringement. I think it's patent infringement. I'll reach out.
Okay. But it says Edu Marketing. I want to give a shout out to Ginger Bell. Ginger Bell's a big name in the mortgage space. She is an edutainer as well, and she helps mortgage loan originators create video content. She helps them come up with sharp marketing ideas on how they can better market themselves and push their services out to their communities. So Ginger and I connected through Steve Richmond, which Steve's been a friend of the show.
Shout out, Steve.
Shout out, Steve. Anything Steve Richmond is doing, y'all want to follow that and be a part of it. He is a funny guy. He is a super intelligent guy. He's really witty.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's willy-nilly.
Yeah.
But he's really witty with a big heart, and he knows a thing or two about helping business and sales professionals become better at what they're doing. But Steve connected me to Ginger and Ginger to me. And during that connection, Ginger's like, oh my gosh, do you know that I have you on my website? I'm like, no, I didn't even know you had a website.
What?
Well, she has a website. She has a podcast that she calls the Mortgage Influencers Podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, so she literally hosts influencers in the mortgage space on her podcast. And then if you go to her website, she literally names like, some of the better podcasts for mortgage professionals, and we're on that. Now, I wish we weren't in the bottom right corner, and I wish we were in the top left corner, but that comes with time. That comes with relationship, right?
Yeah.
And that comes with partnership. But I'm honored that she did ask for me to be on her show.
Yeah.
And that's going to be on April 26th. I'm going to be on the Mortgage Influencers podcast. Ginger Bell, if you want to follow her, and Edu Marketing is her brand. It is her company. And she sent me this awesome box. Inside of this box are 2 or 3 books. I didn't want to display the books today because I want to have Ginger on this show. And let's talk about her experience in the mortgage space. She, John, like you, has an Emmy.
Oh, word?
She, like you, has an Emmy.
We have things in common.
Yep, and she is a published author, unlike me.
One day, Dustin, we're going to get you there.
One day. So, now we can jump into your 1B, John.
Damn syllabus. Yeah. Well, now, before we get to class started today, there's just some housekeeping items we needed to tend to.
That's all exciting.
It is.
Dude, we haven't even talked about changing the show's name. We haven't even talked about the premium membership value proposition that we are getting ready to roll out.
Yeah.
Right? We haven't got there.
Start with the trolls.
We haven't even got there. Start with the trolls. These aren't even trolls. I'm going to start with, I have a weekly standing conversation with the CEO of the mortgage company that I represent. Shout out Jeff McGinnis. All right. So Jeff and I, every Tuesday from 3 to 3:30, usually runs until 4, we hop on a call. Usually the call is nothing but us talking shop, right? Probably talk about current events, get caught up on life things, and then it rolls right into, let's talk what's going on in the industry, what's going on in the market. And Jeff asked me a question because he's a fan of the show. Jeff's a fan of the show. He's like, hey, Dio, what did people say after they listened to or watched your episode where we basically talked about the eye of the storm coming through? Like, I don't know what we titled it. Winter is coming, or something about LO comp being
What's
cut.
going on in the mortgage industry, I think?
It was something. It was a recent episode.
Yeah.
In fact, it might have been the episode right before Carlos's episode.
I think it was.
So, and he had some awesome perspective, right? Because he's a fan of the show. He likes my input. He appreciates it being well thought out. And Jeff and I are very much alike, where we understand that, when we speak and we state something, yes, it's based on years of experience, and yes, it's based on research, but it's still a prognostication. It's still a prediction. So there's no necessarily like, that's 100% what's going to happen. It's, hey, here's what we think could happen, or here's what has the highest likelihood of happening. Even if that likelihood is 65%, well, that means a 35% chance it's not going to happen exactly how you laid it out. So Jeff just wanted to point out that, yeah, he didn't disagree with anything that we said on that show in totality, but he would like to believe that the mortgage companies that are here today in February or March of 2023, that he doesn't think as many of them are going to be wrecked by the eye of the storm as maybe I had thought or maybe even hoped from a competitive standpoint, because he feels like, and he hopes, this is where he is being very
CEO, father, like nothing, not the entire sky is falling, just a couple clouds.
Yeah, and I think less that, more of like when you have like this belief in humanity, right? His belief in humanity is that these C-level executives at all these other mortgage companies should have done what he and others have already done, which they did all the corrective actions they needed to do in October, November, December, in order to put themselves in a position to survive Q1 of this year and to be able to get through Q2 of next year, right? So where I thought, oh my gosh, we're going to see 20 to 30% of mortgage lenders by Q3 of this year not be around, or if they're around, they're not in the manner that we expect it. He was like, That's a big number. In his opinion, it's closer to like 5 or 10%.
Okay.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds. I felt like that was good information to pass along to our audience because they listened to that entire episode. And depending on how you heard me speak, you may have thought it was a second Armageddon, or you may have thought about, nah, you know what, Dio, it's a little bit hyperbole, but I believe in what you're saying, but maybe you err more on the side of Jeff McGinnis. So it's going to be interesting to see. But Jeff has this belief in humanity that people did the right thing, they made the right changes, and they're going to be able to get through. And I'm thinking, I don't know, Jeff, I just kind of watched what happened to Silicon Valley Bank and how many people were doing that, right? Because my banker friends literally will tell me about Silicon Valley Bank. They're like, look, they were running naked. They were exposed. Now, the other bank, Signature Bank, they were a solid bank. They got caught by the contagion, right? So one of them received the punishment that wasn't deserved. One of them received the punishment that potentially could have been prevented. So anyhow, I just wanted to bring that up. Wanted to mention it. It's going to be interesting to see how things transpire as we get into April, May, and June as Q1 earnings come out. But, I may have produced an episode, you and I produced it, where I was speaking and I was like, hey, good news, bad news, winter is coming, winter is here. There isn't end in sight, but man, there's going to be some collateral damage as this winter storm comes through and then eventually passes. Jeff's like, yeah, there'll be collateral damage, Dio, but maybe not to the extent you think it is. So we'll see.
He has to say
we will see. So that was one. Here's another one. So I had a couple people on YouTube.
The internet.
Right, yeah, and one's like, nah, Dio, I'm not buying you saying that LO compensation is going to be impacted going forward as long as that loan officer is a purchase-focused, self-generated, realtor-referred, self-generated. And I get that. Yes, if you want to make the big bucks in this industry, that's what you do. If you want to control your own destiny, we teach it, we preach it, we coach it. That's what we live and breathe as mortgage loan originators. I'm still saying, as somebody who's been in this industry for 20 years, and for somebody who makes it his mission to network with people at high levels in multiple companies, from Spokane, Washington to Key West, Florida, and everywhere in between, who is very active in both his state MBA as well as the national MBA, we as an industry have been trying to solve for our costs for the past 5+ years. The biggest cost a mortgage banker has, whether it's independent or not, is in LO compensation. And when you look at what it takes to run the company, to stay compliant, to not get sued by the regulators, to continue to turn a profit that is consummate to the risk that a lender takes on, something has to give. And the only thing that I could see would be LO comp. So I would still stand by the fact that overall, I could see loan officer compensation being reduced by 10 to 20% within the next 12 to 24 months on a national average. That does not mean that a self-generating, purchase-focused loan originator who gives valuable service to their clients would not make the most per loan. No, they still will. But if you're making 125 bips, you now may be making 110, right? If you're making 150 bips, you now may be making 125. If you're making 100, you now may be making 90, right? That is something that eventually is just going to have to give. I don't see any other way. Again, I'm a loan officer at heart. I help run a mortgage company that has hundreds of loan officers. The last thing we want to do as a mortgage company is touch LO comp. The last thing I want to have happen to me as a loan officer is someone touch my comp.
Touch my comp, see what happens.
That's a t-shirt That is a
I
T-shirt, JC.
use it. Touch my comp. See what happens.
Yes.
Oh, hold on.
Yes.
Don't. I gotta cut that out so people don't steal it and plagiarize it.
Okay.
We thought of it first here on TLOP.
Yeah, that is trademarked.
Yeah.
Trademarked right now.
We'll talk to the lawyers about it.
We will talk to the lawyers about it. So anyhow, I wanted to address that, and then there was someone else commented on YouTube where they were basically like, I think it's bullshit that you want to stay for a company for 10, 15, 20 years.
What?
Oh, you got to leave every 2 to 3
That's
years.
dumb as hell.
Well, you got to leave every 2 to 3 years, John, because your company be cutting your comp, and you got to get big sign-on bonuses by leaving.
In leapfrog from company to company, so you get what's called a guarantee, and once your guarantee runs out, you leave and go to another company. And once you have that, by the end of the year, you'll have like $78,000 in just guaranteed money.
Yep. So I just wanted to say, and by the way, I think that person's a bot. I really do. Like, I went to their YouTube channel, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is a bot. But anyhow, I started chatting with them. Like, and I started chatting on purpose as if I was more of a listener and not, the host of the show. And the responses were great, and they were quick, and they were accurate. But I was like, yeah, but AI could have done that. Like, ChatGPT could have easily responded to that. And all I'm going to stand by is this. And by the way, I don't know that person's name, because if I knew your name, I'm going to guarantee you I'm going to go into MMI, I'm going to look you up.
Uh-oh, look at that production.
That's what I do to trolls. I will look up your production, I will pull your NMLS, and it'll give me a sense of like, hey, how much do I want to engage?
Yeah.
How much should I believe you? How much should I merit what you said? I'm just going to say that this is my humble experience based on 20 years in this industry, that people who leave their company every 2 to 3 years typically are not also the same people who are in the Scotsman Guide, right? They're not winning trips to Costa Rica. They're not the mortgage millionaires.
Preach.
Now, if you told me you leave every 5 to 7 years, okay, but you're trying to leave every 2 to 3 years because you're chasing short-term increased comp or sign-on bonuses, I will promise you from experience that your referral sources and your past clients lose track of you, or they lose faith in you. And I have a key example. This guy was on one of the very first seasons we did. Season one of TLOP. His name is Eric Putt, right? Eric is a legitimate $40 to $60 million producer. Eric runs a $100 million branch. Eric received a text from a realtor just 2 days ago. And the realtor basically said, Eric, are you still at blah, blah, blah mortgage company? True story. She said, I have noticed that 50% of the lenders that I refer, 50%, but she wrote 50%, which I thought was odd, because I would have said half, have changed companies multiple times in the past couple years. I would like to meet with you to discuss working with you and referring my clients to you. She reached out to him solely because he's been with his company now for 7 years. That's it. She was tired. Now, that's not all realtors, but I have a realtor friend of mine because I lived through this, guys and girls. Like, I lived through it in an aspect where my company, Home Bank, was going out of business. So I jumped ship and I went to American Home Mortgage. Well, little did I know, American Home Mortgage technically folded 3 days before Home Bank ended up folding.
Uh-oh.
I then went to this place called Countrywide.
Heard of them.
And while I was in training, was told they were being bought by Bank of America.
Bullshit.
I didn't sign up to work for Bank of America, but I stayed on for a year because I had an agreement that stated I needed to. After that year is how I ended up with my two partners at Waterstone Mortgage 15 years ago. But that means between 2007 and 2008, I had worked for 5 different companies.
Let's go.
Only 2 of them were by choice.
Uh-oh.
I had a realtor. His name is George Philbeck. He is a who's who in real estate, especially if you're in the EXP world or if you're in Florida. At one point, he was like the #1 realtor in all of Keller Williams. George said to me, hey, Dustin, how many more companies are you going to bankrupt? Ha, ha, ha. And then George said to me, hey, once you've been somewhere for 6 months, I'd love you to come in and talk to my team. But until you've been somewhere for 6 months, at this point, I can't trust who you're representing and where you're going to work. So that person who stated what he stated or she stated on YouTube, I'm just going to go on record to say I'm doubling down that I think that my experiences and my perceptions and my data and my evidence speaks to the latter. right? I'm not saying that you can't move every 2 to 3 years and you can't be a top producer. But what I'm saying is that that would be an outlier. So just wanted to talk on that.
Let's go.
Just want to talk on that. All right, last topic.
Okay.
Y'all, TLOPonline.com for the past year has been an awesome placeholder for everything John and I have envisioned doing since really about
2020.
2021.
Yeah.
2020 is when we launched the podcast.
2021.
We spent the first 5 or 6 months just figuring us out, figuring it out, learning who our audience was. By 2021, we started leaning into our audience, and pretty quickly our audience responded, and they're like, hey, y'all, we want more. We want more training. We want more access. We want to actually see some of the stuff that you talk about. So we're like, all right, cool. Don't know how to do this. Maybe a website. Website could be like that placeholder, that storefront. Well, here we are almost exactly 3 years to the date that we recorded our first episode, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the website's been up for over a year. And it's a really good entry-level website. But things that we're getting ready to do, we want to give you all better trainings. We want to make those trainings searchable. We want to give you all better access to me and John. We want to really get people to engage in the online community. Like think Reddit, but just for mortgage sales professionals. We want to start tying in our guests and our partners. We want to offer you all discounts to all of the companies that I talk about top producers using to run their book of business. We are currently negotiating with these companies, and they are saying we would love to support the TLOP community. We would love to offer discounts to our services, right? These are all things that we're currently doing. We're prepping you for that because we are going to want you to check out the website. We want your feedback. We want to hear from you. What do you like? What do you don't like? What do you want to make better? John will be rolling out version 2 of the website in the next 3 weeks, but we're then going to go straight into production into V3, right? And V3 is going to be a heavy lift, but that's when we're literally going to say, we are who we are. We're going to stake our claim. So that was more of a be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. This is really crazy, awesome, exciting things. Okay. Here's another thing we need your help with.
This is you. I'm going to let you go
ready
down
for
this.
it?
No, I'm not. You know what I must say.
When we launched this podcast, we struggled with the name. We didn't know if we wanted 2 separate podcasts with 2 separate identities. Our focus groups and our research said no. 1 podcast, 1 identity, multiple audiences. Throughout the past 3 years, we have stated, don't let the name fool you. This is not a show specifically for mortgage professionals. Yes, we make content geared towards mortgage professionals and their clients, but their clients are realtors and their clients are home buyers or homeowners, which really, that's about 80% of the American populace is going to fit into that bucket. But then I started doing things with college students. We started doing episodes on budgeting, and we started doing some things on like just life coach. And it truly is everything you should have learned in high school. So here's what we struggle with. The Loan Officer Podcast, by its name, I think we're missing a large segment of audience that would benefit from the show. But we love the name.
I don't even know if you can change this shit.
But TLOP works.
Yeah.
Right? TLOP works. So I'm going to want the audience to help us choose the direction as it pertains to the name. Look, the brand is the brand. Okay, what we stand for is what we stand for. We're not changing that. The culture, that's us. But we could be convinced to roll out something, maybe we call it the TLOP experience. Because TLOP now is the brand. What's TLOP? Cool, it stands for nothing. Technically, it stands for The Loan Officer Podcast. But TLOP's the brand, right? TLOP is everything you should have learned in high school but didn't. TLOP is being in the room where it happens. TLOP is being invited to the cool kid table where they talk about ways that you can generate wealth or ways that you can become a better human being, right? That's what TLOP is. So maybe it's just the TLOP experience, or just like we did with our loan officer sales events, we started off wanting to call it TLOP Live, but nope, we're going to reserve that for actual live shows that we do where we stream them and we have user interaction, right? People can call in, they can type in, they can ask questions live on the air, so to speak, and then we can answer them. Very much, by the way, how we do our town halls, right? Like we do town halls. If you're currently a premium member of TLOPonline.com, first, thank you. But second, like one of the benefits you get is an hour-long town hall once a month. And that's something that as we roll out V2 and V3 of TLOPonline.com, we're going to be giving more access like that to our premium members. But just like we now rebranded those sales events for loan officers, TLOP Presents, maybe the show is that. Like maybe the show would be TLOP Presents Financial Friends with Benefits. Now, I don't know if we could use that. I'd have to reach out to my buddy Alex over at Sales Boomerang.
Sure, Alex.
Because Alex has the t-shirt already made.
Yeah.
I don't know if Alex is already married to that or that just made a really cool t-shirt.
I didn't see no R in a circle, so we can swipe and adapt.
We can do what's right.
No.
And doing what's right is reaching out to Alex over at Sales Boomerang and saying, hey, Alex, it's been suggested that we swipe that name and use it for ourselves. Would you ever have an issue with it? If he says yes, then we don't do it. If he says no, roll with it, then know this, Alex, if you're tuned in right now, we will forever pay homage to Sales Boomerang, which I know has a new name because Dave Savage over at Mortgage Coach and Alex at Sales Boomerang merged together. They then partnered with a big VC company. Like, congratulations, because I think there was a bit of an exit for them. And that VC company is going to try to take their ideas and what they've been doing and next level that. In fact, I want to do a partnership with Mortgage Coach and Sales Boomerang. I would love to be able to offer that to our TLOP members and our TLOP community where they can maybe receive enterprise pricing on those products. So that's a phone call I need to make to Alex and to Dave. But yeah, so these are ideas that when it comes to changing the show's name, here's the question, here's the poll, and we should do a poll, by the way, like put it up on IG and Facebook and LinkedIn and everywhere else. Do we just keep the name and say, F it? We are who we are, and we're going to power through.
That's my vote.
The Loan Officer Podcast, and let everyone just call us TLOP.
I love that.
Fight through the fact that don't let the name fool you.
Yes, that's what I vote for because I know there's a bunch of back-end stuff that I don't know if you can change the name after 300 episodes. You might have to start it again and lose all your metrics.
Yeah. Who brought the technical nerd into here?
Sorry, man. I know you're just like you said, like, hey, I cannot. Yeah, I want it now. I'm like, hey, man, that's not how it works. Or I like the poll. Thing.
Okay, well, so that's going to be option A. Keep the name.
Keep it.
And power through.
Power through and educate.
And we just need a lot of marketing collateral that says, don't let the name fool you. Literally, that would be our slogan. Don't let the name fool you. They don't teach this shit in high school.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's it.
That's just in my heart of hearts.
We could just shorten and call it TLOP. Period.
I'm with that. TLOP.
Like Cher.
Yeah.
Like Pink. Yeah. Like Bono. TLOP.
Like John.
Boring as shit.
JOHN?
Yes.
Trash. or we could call it, what else, Dustin? Keep going.
Okay. The TLOP Project.
That's doubling up on the.
No. The TLOP Experience.
That's doubling up on the.
TLOP Experience.
Ooh. But then people are like, what is that?
But see, the minute you make TLOP a brand.
It is already, we've built too much brand equity into the thing to. And this is us.
Or TLOP Presents.
I like that.
XYZ. TLOP Presents Financial Friends with Benefits. TLOP Presents shit they don't teach in school.
Yeah.
And maybe the show is shit they don't teach in school. That transcends literally everybody. 18 to 80, blind, crippled, or crazy. You ever heard that before?
No, that's fun. I'm going to use that.
I get that from my mama.
What?
My mom used to say that.
You're blind, crippled, and crazy?
My mom had this saying that she would describe me. It was very embarrassing, but she would describe me to like her friends when I was like a teen or even like in college. Like, oh yeah, that's my son. He'll flirt with anybody, blind, crippled, or 18 or 80, blind, crippled, or crazy. Basically just meant I'm a big flirt. Like male, female didn't matter. Old, young didn't matter.
I would call that trauma that probably hasn't healed yet.
Well, you call that trauma, but I would tell my mom, I'm not flirting. That's just who I am. Like, I'm not like trying to make sexual advances at everybody. I'm just literally trying to be a nice guy.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyhow, a little sidebar there.
No. So TLOP presents shit they don't teach in high school.
Yeah. Okay. So then those are kind of going to be our options. Stick with it.
Or
the Loan Officer Podcast.
Change it, but have TLOP in there somewhere.
just go to TLOP, would be option 2.
We can't dump everything. There's too much equity. I think
TLOP presents
it's on that.
Financial Friends with Benefits, if Alex gives us permission, or TLOP presents shit they don't teach in school.
Yeah, or be free to feel free, you internet nerds, to go on YouTube and comment, and we would love to hear your feedback. If you have a better name, tell us. We'll give you credit and then give you no revenue once we start making money off of it.
Perfect. Well, that's really all I had for today.
Did that feel good to get that out?
Yes. Yeah, it was a little bit of a dump.
That
right?
was more of a therapy session for you, Dio.
It was. And by the way, I process. Wow, I process my thoughts
as you go
by speaking.
I know.
When I talk a lot of times it's how I think.
I've learned that. So.
And you just get to be a part of my thinking process.
Yeah.
So today it was the audience. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. Hopefully you got some kind of a value, or at least entertained.
Yeah.
I made your drive home a little bit better, or being stuck in traffic a little bit better, or maybe that run that you're doing right now is somewhat more enjoyable. So yes, continue to tune in, continue to share us, like us, visit the website.
It's only the beginning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children 18 plus.
Yes, if you visit the website now, you can even give us feedback on how we can make it better.
Yo, we want to hear that shit.
Yeah, trust me, we have 5 pages of notes.
It's just the beginning.
Yes, it is just the beginning. But it doesn't mean that you don't have an idea that we haven't already thought about. And come if you're somewhat around Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Right, that's West Palm.
Yeah.
That's just north of Fort Lauderdale. It's right around Jupiter. Like, those are the cities for you non-Florida people. If you're somewhat around, come check us out.
Pull up.
It's a free event because of our sponsors. DoubleTree Hotel, April 25th. Palm Beach Gardens. TLOP presents Learn, Earn, and Grow, a mortgage sales symposium. Go check out our buddies, Justin and Amir, at Growthcon, April 21st and April 22nd in Chicago. We're going to have information regarding both those events on our website, tloponline.com. And tune in to the Mortgage Influencers podcast on April 26th to see yours truly. And go ahead and start following Ginger Bell now.
I didn't sign up for all this. The way you're doing these promos is like what a radio personality, like let's say the Herd, has to do in between like takes. So like this is brought to you by Progressive. Progressive has the best insurance if you're looking for anything. But the way you rattled it off is really good.
Well, John, I hope that we don't have to run commercials ever on this show.
It's not a joke. They're not commercials because they're authentic.
No, these are things that we're either going to be attending. It's a way to come connect with us, a way to come see us,
shake hands, kiss babies.
You know, or when it comes to GrowthCon, like those are our boys, and they invited us to be there, and I would love to be there. Here's the real issue: I'm in DC,
advocating on the mortgage industry's behalf to make sure the legislation is passed and our voice is heard.
Yes, and I'm there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I fly back to Orlando late Wednesday night. I do have a wife that I adore. I do have 2 children that I love. Yeah. They love me. I love seeing them. I don't know if they love seeing me as much as I love seeing them, but I don't like being on the road for that many days. Therefore, it didn't work for me to come home from DC, then hop back on a plane to go to this event, which, by the way, I would love to be at that event, but I just can't. So we're not trying to sell commercials. We're not selling sponsorships.
Just saying
we are not for sale. Even when you go on our website, these partners that we're bringing on, I don't want any money from them. I want 2 things. I want to be able to offer discounts to their services for our members.
Makes sense.
It's a value add to our members. And I want to be able to do it through the website. That way it's like one-stop shopping, one place for our members to go and have access. I've already had 6 amazing conversations. People are like, yep, sign me up. Yep, sign me up.
Yep.
I'm talking like Knowledge Coop.
Uh-oh.
I'm talking Renee Rodriguez. I'm talking Growth Only Coaching.
What?
I'm talking MMI. I'm talking Connections Inc.
Oh, yeah. Shout out.
Right?
Shout out, Chris.
I'm talking FinLocker, but FinLocker comes with another partnership.
Wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. No, we're just getting started. Like you said, we're just getting started. Super exciting stuff. You want to jump on board now, be a part of it, be a trendsetter, be a founder, right? Be like, I knew them before.
Yeah, I remember.
Because these are the places that we're going. And yes, to your point, you didn't sign up for this and you didn't. You didn't sign up for it, John, but you know what? You're amazing. You're amazing at being a shotgun rider. You're amazing playing the DJ so that I can drive and you Never ask me to stop to pee.
Nope.
You never talk about how hungry you are. And when I tell you that music sucks, you change it. You are an awesome partner. You are an amazing co-host.
Yeah.
And you let me drag you along the way.
As long as I have my medical cannabis, I can do whatever you want.
Exactly. We just let John pull over so John can smoke a bowl, drink a Heineken, and we can drive another 8 hours.
There it is.
Yeah, secret to life, man. Secret to life. Keep John happy.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude. I appreciate you.
That's good. I'm
Everyone
excited.
tuning in, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Please continue to tune in. Continue to check us out. Continue to give us those reviews. Subscribe, all that good stuff. That is all the time we have for you today, but we will catch you on the next episode.
Goodbye.